أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So today is October 2nd, 2025. The date, the time on my side of the world is 10:37 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Uh, my name is Mohammed Faisal. I'm one of the chief examiners of our Nafi. We have with us in our present Syed Ammar Hussain. He's going for Diploma in Cloud Cybersecurity EduQual Level 3, RQF Level 3. The topic you have today is SSAE 16 Type 2 and ISO IC 27001 Information Security in Government Cloud Systems on Azure and GCP. Obviously, the standards they keep on evolving. So now there's a new name for SSAE 16, right? So I'll be asking for all of those things as well. This is a level 3 exam. It's not very detailed. We have very limited wiggle room in terms of what I can ask you because it's a level 3, it's not level 6, right? The key learning objectives are you have to show how to implement SSA 16 Type 2 to ensure government cloud systems meet audit requirements, use ISO 27001 to protect sensitive government data against security threats, and lastly, monitor security and compliance using Azure Security Center, GCP Security Command Center, and open source tools like Wazoo. The presentation is pretty simple, pretty straightforward. You'll be given minimum 15, maximum up to 25 minutes to go through the presentation, followed by the Q&A. In Q&A, we will go through and have around 30 to 40 minutes. So the whole presentation can be wrapped between 45 minutes to 60 minutes, depending on how things are proceeding. Okay? Are you ready, Syed Ammar?
Yes.
If at any given point in time you cannot understand a question, please ask me to repeat the question, and I will be able to break down the question in the most easiest fashion I can. Inshallah, I will try my level best. Okay. You may share your screen, please.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, it is. Alhamdulillah. Okay. You want to start?
Yes.
Okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. You may start.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Syed Ammar and I am a student of cloud cybersecurity at Nafi. So the topic of my presentation is about safeguarding government data in the cloud. I'll be presenting a framework for protecting cloud systems with SSA 16 Type 2, ISO 27001, and major cloud providers. Now, what is the objective? The objective of this presentation is to secure sensitive government data in the cloud through a layered approach. So why does the protection of this government data takes place? See, if a breach has happened in a government sector, then it can cause severe disruptions to critical infrastructures such as power plants, water supplies, etc. As well as it can also compromise the national security and the nationwide trust. I'll be guiding you through this layered security approach to defend cloud systems against modern cyber threats by combining governance, assurance, and technical tools. This strategy does not only protect data, but it also builds trust. This presentation will guide you through this holistic security model. Our first layer is assurance. Now, what is SSAE 16? SSAE 16, or Statement on Standards for Attestation Number 16, is an auditing standard proposed by American Institute of Certified Public Accountants. It was a succession of SAS 70, which is also an auditing standard. It is an attestation standard and applies only to SOC 1 reports. Now, SOC, or Security Organization Controls Report, is the framework. Security Organization Controls Report is an attestation. Is the outcome of an attestation engagement performed during an audit. So there are mainly three kinds of SOC reporting frameworks: SOC 1, SOC 2, and SOC 3. The reason why our scope specifically discusses SOC 1 uh, is that SSA 16 is limited to SOC 1. So the primary focus of SSA 16 is to ensure that whether the internal controls relevant to financial reporting are being implemented or not. Now, as I mentioned earlier, that SOC report, there are mainly three kinds of SOC reporting frameworks. Each one is divided into two types. Type 1 and Type 2. So Type 1 addresses the quality of the presentation of service organization and the suitability of the design of controls on a specific point in time. While Type 2 does the same by addressing quality of the presentation and the design of controls, but it also addresses or it also attests the operational effectiveness of internal controls over a specified period of time. For example, Type 1 is like a snapshot of the controls being implemented currently, while Type 2 is like a video recording of the controls being implemented over a specified period of time. So it's not a one-time job, but a continuous cycle. Now, these reports, specifically SSA 16 Type 2, is highly critical for financial auditors. Like I mentioned earlier, that SSA 16 was limited in the context of scope, so which was ICFR, Internal Controls for Financial Reporting. So ICPA decided to overcome that limitation. ICPA decided to introduce an updated version of SSA 16 with a broader scope and termed it as SSA 18. Now, what were the major changes introduced in SSA 18? It emphasizes a service organization to monitor their sub-service organization and conduct risk assessment to assessment to protect their cloud infrastructures from cyber threats, or specifically supply chain attacks. Now, as I said that SSA 18, is flexible and it can align with SOC 2 reporting frameworks. Now, SOC 2 focuses on the attestation of internal controls relevant to confidentiality, processing integrity, availability, privacy, and overall security. So this standard, SSA 18, enhances the value of report for due diligence by addressing or attesting required controls for security. Now, it aligns more closely with other international standards like like an auditing standard IC 3402 and a compliance standard Sarbanes-Oxley directly. However, it also aligns with other international standards like ISO 27001 HIPAA and GDPR indirectly, and this makes SSA 18 a more robust and relevant standard for government agencies. So this means that a government agency must consider SSA 18 Type 2 SOC 2 report over a SOC 1 because it can ensure a government agency about its cloud provider's security posture. However, a SOC 1 Type 2 report is limited to the attestation of internal controls over financial reporting, but it plays a crucial role in its own boundary of assurance for the protection of financial information from frauds and errors, and it also maintains accuracy. So those user entities who can rely on the protection of their financial information can rely on a SOC 1 Type 2 report or SSA 16 Type 2 report, but in case of a government entity, it is a bad idea. Also, there is one of the advantageous benefit of SSA 16 Type 2 report that it reduces the burden of due diligence from the government entity's own auditors. So now the report enhances trust and credibility in the cloud provider. So from the perspective of cloud provider, the core focus or the main reason of SSA 16 to achieve a successful audit of SSA 16 is to gain trust of their service organization to ensure that their internal controls are aligned with the requirements of their their user entity. This assurance confirms that financial data is handled with due care. Like I mentioned earlier, SOC 1 Type 2 verifies that the cloud provider guarantees their responsibility for the protection of its user entity's financial data because they handle this data with due care by maintaining security of the cloud. However, it does not provide a comprehensive security assurance for the entire environment. So this leads us to our next layer of defense, which is governance. ISO 27001 is an international compliance standard for establishing, implementing, maintaining, and continually improving an information security management system. It provides a baseline of controls divided into 4 fundamental areas for establishment: organizational, technical, physical, and people-related controls. ISO 27001 is not just a framework, but it is a system The reason why it is the most widely known security standard is that it is flexible and it can be tailored based on the requirements. The framework is based on Plan, Do, Check, Act cycle. Now, ISO 27001 is not just a checklist of controls like PCI DSS or NIST. Rather, it proposes a cycle of Plan, Do, Check, Act, which maintains the quality of the controls by updating security posture to defend against cyber threats, to defend against modern cyber threats. ISO 27002 provides a companion guidance on control implementation. Now, ISO 27001 describes the requirements, like what should be done or what controls should be implemented in order to maintain information security, but it does not explain how. For that purpose, ISO 27002 companion guidance or a supporting document or 27.
I just lost you. Is this my internet issue or something else is wrong? Udefa? Sorry, Cheese, are you there?
Yes, his screen has been stopped.
I think he's having an internet issue, right? I thought like problem is on my side. Is it still raining in Karachi?
No, no, it's not raining.
The person, is he based in Karachi right now, where he's coming from? Syed Ammar Hussain?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, he had an internet issue. Okay, we're gonna wait. Where is he? If he doesn't come in the next 2 minutes, I will mark his exam, unfortunately.
He has arrived, Faisal bhai. Ammar, please open your camera.
We are losing time, so I will mark the time as is. I'm just telling him right now, okay? Because the exam is live. Ammar, are you there?
जी सर
You are losing time. You started at 10:40, it's 10:53. 13 minutes have passed. Can you please wrap up your presentation? You still have time. Shees, can you hear me?
Yes, Faisal bhai. I have messaged him also.
Yeah, he's just losing time. I can't do anything. I will mark his exam. I'm already marking it right now as we speak. Right?
His mic is open, but he's not speaking.
Hello.
Yes, Syed.
Hello. Yes, sir.
Please continue.
Sure. Give me a minute, sir. Is my screen visible, sir?
Yes, it is.
Yes, ma'am. ISO 27001 is an international compliance standard for establishing, implementing, maintaining, and continually improving an information security management system. It provides a baseline of controls divided into four fundamental areas for establishment: organizational, technical, physical, and people-related controls. ISO 27001 is not just a framework, rather, it is a system. The reason why it is the widely known compliance standard is that it is flexible and it can be tailored. Now, ISO 27001 is not just a checklist or like PCI DSS or NIST. Rather, it proposes a cycle of plan, do, check, act, which maintains the quality of the information security controls by updating security posture to defend against modern cyber threats. Now, ISO 27001 describes the requirements. For example, like what should be done or what controls should be implemented in order to maintain uh, information security, but it does not tell how. So, for that purpose, ISO 27002 explains the process behind the implementation of controls. Like it explains the best practices to implement an information security management system, like multi-factor authentication, role-based access control, identity access management, multi-factor authentication, and so on. There is another aspect of ISO 27001 which makes it unique in the most logical way possible, which is its risk-driven approach. Now, do you remember in the previous slide, I mentioned that ISO 27001 is flexible and it can be tailored. So this risk management process is what makes it possible and adaptable in a wide range of industries. It forces an organization to it forces an organization to think critically about its specific risks and implement only the relevant controls to manage them. So the risk management process is consists of two stages: risk assessment and risk treatment. The process of risk assessment mostly includes identification. It is because it defines the scope. And I read this line somewhere in an article that you cannot protect what you can't measure. So the identification includes identification of assets, vulnerabilities related to those assets, and threats exploiting those vulnerabilities, and then the evaluation takes place. The evaluation phase involves the decision of whether the risk requires treatment or not. Now, when the risk assessment process is done and it is evaluated that the risk requires treatment, then we can look up to the 4 most probable risk treatment procedures, like mitigation, transference, acceptance, and avoidance. There is no other way to treat risk except for the 4 mentioned in ISO 27001. Now, this approach aligns with security decisions with the organization's business objective. Now, this risk management process is focused on achieving business objectives by tailoring only the required controls to implement. For example, if an organization follows a checklist of controls, then they will implement all the controls listed in the checklist, and they can leave a blind spot in their information security management system. And it can also be expensive for them. On the other hand, RSDM approach can reduce the overall expense and remove the unwanted controls from the information security management system. Now, after initial implementation of ISMS and or completion of after each completion of PDCA cycle, a statement is put forward or updated. This document includes the justification for the inclusions and exclusions of controls, and this document is named as a statement of applicability. A statement of applicability is same as the SOC report, but it explains the risks and their controls and the related controls in detail. Now, ISO 27001. Now, what are the benefits proposed by ISO 27001? So, if a cloud provider holds an ISO 27001 certificate, then it proves that their information security management system is continually improving to defend against modern cyber threats, and their internal controls are operationally effective. Also, it verifies that the cloud provider fulfill their part of shared responsibility model by maintaining security of the cloud. Now, shared responsibility model is a security model which divides the role of responsibilities between a user entity and a cloud provider. Now, to understand it better, let me give you an example. In a broader perspective, a cloud provider is responsible for the responsible for the protection of physical assets from physical threats, like securing their data center, and while a user entity is responsible for protecting their digital assets from digital threats, like securing their data which resides in the cloud. Now, this certification adds another layer of trust and credibility for the agency. So, following the assurance layer, this governance layer adds another layer of trust and credibility for the user entity and its cloud provider. If a cloud provider holds both SSAE 18 Type 2 and an ISO 27001 certification, then a government entity must consider their cloud provider because they prioritize overall security of the cloud rather than being asserted for the assurance of internal controls over financial reporting. Now, the statement of applicability is a key document which should be reviewed by the government entity's own auditor for better clarity on the ISMS of their cloud provider. But there is a catch that ISO 27001 nor its supporting document 27002 defines the tools to implement the controls listed in their documents. So for that, let me show you my next layer of defense. Now, the cloud provider. No, so far we've discussed that the cloud provider. So far we've discussed the security of the cloud, which covers the cloud provider's part of shared responsibility model. Now, these cloud native tools assist government entity in to fulfill their part of shared responsibility model because these tools are utilized to maintain security in the cloud. As per the scope of my presentation, I'll be discussing two major cloud providers, GCP and Microsoft's Azure. GCP provides an extremely efficient security tool named Security Command Center. It provides Cloud Security Posture Management, or CSPM. This security function helps in identification of misconfigurations and their remediation. Now, Security Command Center is not just a single tool, but it consists of several components utilized for different purposes. For example, Security Health Analytics is used for is the engine of CSPM, while Event Threat Detection is utilized to detect malicious activities. Now, these tools, specifically the cloud-native tools, are extremely efficient in their workings because they're employed by the best security experts in the world. And now GCP have integrated artificial intelligence in their security tools to reduce false positives and increase efficiency. Similarly, Microsoft provides a security tool named Microsoft Defender for Clouds, formerly known as Azure Security Center. It also offers CSPM and cloud workload protection. This new security function helps in detect threats and protect every workload on the cloud, like containers, serverless functions, storages, etc. Now, there is a fundamental issue which is faced by every user entity working with multi-cloud environments, that is lack of centralized view. And in simple terms, there is no way to manage different security of different systems running on multiple cloud platforms through a unified cloud approach. For that purpose, let me introduce SIEM. A SIEM or Security Information and Event Management Platform is used to collect and utilize logs from various endpoints to one server, which then analyze and detect threats. Now, there is an open source powerful SIEM software, which is Wazoo. Wazoo is widely known for its host intrusion detection and file integrity monitoring capabilities. So now Wazoo consists of a server and agents. A server is where everything is managed, and agents are deployed on every endpoint to forward logs to its respective server. In simple terms, it provides a centralized platform for aggregating and correlating logs. Now, as I said, Wazoo is not a proprietary tool, so it avoids vendor lock-in, which means that if a user entity is running multiple services on multi-cloud environments, then they can centralize all the log data to a one Wazoo server, which can be monitored easily. Now, the SIEM enables real-time threat detection and incident response. This is also a feature of SIEM platforms or softwares, that it can also detect threats. But if we compare this to cloud-native tools like GCP Security Command Center and Azure's Security Center, it is not that good because, as I said, that those cloud-native tools are employed by the best security experts in the world, which makes it extremely efficient in their workings. Now, cloud-native tools implement controls for our ISMS. Now you'll be asking that how does this technical layer assist our previous layer of governance? See, like I mentioned, that ISO 27001 and its supporting document 27002 do not mention about technical tools. So to implement those controls, we always require tools to implement those requirements. For that, these cloud-native tools assist in implementing those controls. Now, like I mentioned, that GCP generate a constant stream of security telemetry and logs because they are extremely efficient and they provide loads of data. But if we have to centralize all those data, a user entity can hit a wall of vendor lock-in. To overcome that limitation, a SIEM like Wazoo can correlate and aggregate logs from all platforms into a single view. This provides visibility required for real-time monitoring and incident response. Now, GCP and Azure can assist in detecting threats, and SIEM platform can centralize that into a single platform for threat detection and incident response purposes. And it can also be beneficial for better monitoring purposes. This technical layer proves the operational effectiveness of our security program. In conclusion, Safeguarding government data is a national priority which requires defense-in-depth strategy. Defense-in-depth strategy, especially when a government entity is working with multiple cloud platforms. It is because then a government entity does not only require a robust technical defensive strategy, but it also requires an assertion of trust from their cloud providers. We've seen that this defense starts from the assurance provided by the standards like SSAE 18, which gives an audited layer of trust to a government entity. Then this process is guided by the governance of a comprehensive framework like ISO 27001, which uh, which proves that the information security management system of cloud provider is uh, is continually improving and extremely efficient and operationally effective to a government entity. Then finally, this strategy is put into action by government entity and validated using various technical tools like cloud native security suites and open source theme like Vasu. Now, this holistic layered approach is how a government entity can build a foundation of trust and resilience in the cloud. It is it moves them from a reactive to a proactive state because, as the great security expert Bruce Schneier once said, security is not a product but a process. Thank you.
Okay. You know, Bruce Shiner?
I've read some of its articles.
Yes, I met him long ago in the States.
Oh,
Okay.
it's important.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. He and Sean Harris, one of the pioneers, I would say, in terms of who came up with the CSSP manual and everything. They were the ones who kind of, you can say, created the movement of cybersecurity in the industry, right?
I
I think,
watched some of his TEDx talks and read one or two articles or essays basically.
but this is all, when I started studying about it, this is all psychological. This is all,
Theory.
say, it's all human nature. And this is mentioned in Quran and Sunnah and everything. And I realized like this is all the same things, right? So how things can be exploited, right? So nothing new. Anyway, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So let's jump in and complete this thing. So let me open the presentation. So presentation was okay. You had a hiccup, right? I don't know what was happening, but we lost you.
Actually, I don't have electricity currently. I'm running a generator.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. In the presentation, the only feedback if you have to ask me that I can provide is presentation is good. You have a good way of explaining the things. However, the presentation is very verbose. Like it's all practices.
Detailed.
It's all text. Needs to be diagram showing how the seam centralized logging works out, collectors, log collectors, or like you have to explain a couple of things. So, but we will discuss this course at the very end, right? So right now we just have to go forward. So what are the 7 steps, that you, right? Just give me 1 minute. Hold on. Syed Ammar Sam, right? We open the presentation again. Why did it close itself down? Hold on. Safeguarding government data in the cloud. Yes. It's loading on my side. Sometimes even Google Slides give you problems. Okay, so explain to me securing sensitive in the cloud. So explain to me, how would you devise a strategy in terms of securing sensitive data in the cloud? What standards would you pick up? How would you go about doing it? I mean, how the whole process will start.
We can divide using shared responsibility model, like cloud provider is responsible for security of the cloud, and we as a government entity can be responsible for maintaining security in the cloud through various of their services like security tools. And they have to take like they have to be compliant with ISO 27001 and auditing standards like SSI 18, so that they can ensure us about security of the cloud. Our role is to maintain security in the cloud.
No, like what is the process that you will start? Like if I ask you, you have to secure the sensitive data in the cloud, where would you start? What is the process?
Because we will start by classifying the data.
Okay.
We will start by classifying the data and implement. First of all, we must implement access control policies to restrict unauthorized access to information systems, so that we can avoid data leakage, and we can like protect security in the cloud if we are responsible for protecting data in the cloud.
So securing sensitive data in the cloud, if I give you a project, the first thing you need to do is you need to select a standard, right? Your answer is coming from all over the places, different directions. So the first thing is like you get the buy-in from the senior management. Yes, we have to secure sensitive data in the cloud. You say, okay, fine. You will pick up a standard. The standard outlines data classification. What kind of data do we have? Sensitive, private, confidential, secret, top secret, whatever, right? Then you will say, okay, we classify the data. That's the data we have. Then you start performing business impact analysis, right? Identifying the systems in the cloud, the applications, the infrastructure components, all of those things, the policies and procedures, and see if they align with the standard, because you have to comply with some kind of standard, right? If I ask you to
Yes.
go and pray Salah, you will say, how should I pray Salah, right? You will say, how should I pray Salah? Then I will tell you, this is the prescribed way of praying the Salah. Then you can evaluate if you are praying right or not, right? So in the same way, security starts with like, what do I have to follow? And then
ISO 27001.
27017 is the standard that you will pick up, not 27001. That's the ISMS, but you have to pick up the controls, right? So in the cloud is 27017 and 27018 that you will pick up. Okay. All right. So what is the role of 27001 in government cloud adoption?
Can you rephrase the question, please?
Like you mentioned, the importance for the government to run secure information systems, right? So what role does ISO 27001 plays in government cloud adoption? Like if this is like, if you're in Karachi, right? Where Karachi, Islamabad, where are you?
Karachi.
Karachi. So in Karachi, the Sindh government comes and say, okay, Syed Ammar, you've been hired as a GRC consultant for us. What would you do? What would you tell them? Okay, this is my mandate. Great. Now, this is why you guys need to follow this thing. So what will be the elevator speech? What would you say? Why should they do 27001 as the main standard? And it has different components.
Because it is uniquely flexible and it can be tailored, like I said in the presentation. Its risk management process is what makes it unique in the most logical way possible. Like if a company follows a checklist of controls like PCI DSS, then they can leave a blind spot in their security system. Whereas ISO 27001 can forces an organization to think critically about its specific risks.
So 27001 essentially provides a systematic framework for information security, requiring risk management, governance, continuous improvement through PDCA, plan, do, check, act cycle,
Yes, yes.
ensures that the government data is secured holistically rather than through isolated controls, right? That is how you have to provide me the answer. The answer is good. I will take that and give you the marks, full marks, because this is the RQF qualification is academic, right? But obviously, the goal is to enable you to secure employment, right? And for that, you need to make sure that you follow it through, right? This is how you have to provide the answer. Okay. All right. So, why statement of applicability SOA is important in 27001? Whoa.
Because it because it explains, it basically justify the inclusion and exclusions of controls. Why controls are being implemented and why not controls are being implemented, which are listed in ISO 27001's document. We have to update it upon each completion of PDCA cycle or after initial implementation of ISMS to justify what controls are being implemented and why are those controls are being implemented.
Okay.
That is the role of ISO statement of applicability.
Okay. I mean, SOA, what kind of document is SOA? Is it a very critical document? Is it like, what is it?
It is, yes, it is a critical document because it should be reviewed if like in a cloud environment, if a user entity approaches a cloud provider, then they should review their ISMS by reviewing their statement of applicability.
And
Otherwise, they are
provides what for the auditors? Like it provides what? When the auditors comes in and they see this, what do they assume? What do they take that as an evidence? What do they think of this SOA?
They get idea or clarity of the cloud providers ISMS. They get the idea of and clarity of the cloud providers ISMS.
Good, mashallah. Good, very good. The SOA is a key document listing which ISO 27001 controls have been selected, why they were chosen. Like the explanation of the control. You've seen the SOA, right? I've given you the templates.
Yes.
So, and how they are implemented. It provides evidence of risk-driven decision making for auditors, right? That's what it provides. That's how you have to answer. So when you're sitting somewhere, that's how you have to answer. Your answers needs to align with the lingo of a GRC consultant. In the Al-Razak labs, as you go forward, completing the Linux labs and all of those different labs, right? Then you jump into doing some of these labs related to basically Al-Razak Part 2, implementation of ISO 27001. In the DCCS, we was only taught you 27001 implementation. In DevOps, different ISO standards. In SysOps, different ISO standards. Level 3, level 4. And level 5, different standards. Level 6, it's AIMS, AIMS, right? Artificial Intelligence Management System. Yes, there's a security management system. There's a business continuity management system. There's a service management system, ITIL. And then there's also AIMS, Artificial Intelligence Management System. And all of these are very, very important for you to understand. Obviously, you won't get AIMS or others. In the level 3, you will only get access to 27001, right? That's what you will get access to. You can't go beyond that. That is the scope of the diploma. Okay, so why is SIEM necessary even when cloud native tools are present? Like, why should we have SIEM in place?
There is only one reason that SIEM exists in a multi-cloud environment, that is centralized logging, like log correlation and aggregation. Otherwise, cloud native tools are extremely efficient in threat detection and threat intelligence purposes because, as I said, they are employed by the best security experts in the world. which means as a government entity or user entity, a normal scene which detects threats cannot compare to those cloud native tools.
Yeah, you keep on emphasizing the best security consultants in the world. There are no best security consultants in the world, right?
I mean, they're experienced in their workings. That's what I mean.
Yes, I mean, they are more experienced, but every day you think a lot. Plus, because of AI, many of the consultants are now out of job. You know, in
Yes.
PwC, my friend, we both started our career together. I became a, you know, CIO, CTO, different organizations. He is now a partner of mergers and acquisition in cybersecurity domain in the AI domain, the emerging fields domain at PwC in UK. He's a UK born. We used to go for Salah together. When we used to work in central London, going to London School of Economics, they had a masjid, a musalla over there. Not a masjid, a musalla. We used to pray there. So he told me, Muhammad, yeah, he called me 2 weeks ago. We had a conversation. He said, Muhammad, we had to let go 10 lawyers and 10 GRC consultants because there was no need to review documents and contracts for the lawyers because everything was done by AI. And then we had to let go GRC consultants because the policies are now driven by, AI. But those consultants who knew GRC, who knew DevOps, who knew SysOps, who knew AI, who knew cybersecurity, they were on the job, right? See, this is the difference. What does cybersecurity, DevOps, SysOps, AI combines together? What does it becomes? And GRC. It becomes what?
AI ops.
AIOps. So he said we had to let go 20 people, right? So in central London, 20 people were fired in one day from PwC. 10 lawyers, 10 GRC consultants.
The reason was artificial intelligence.
But those people, those consultants who knew GRC, SysOps, DevOps, AI, they were working, they were good in scripting and Bash and all of those things, and Dockers and Kubernetes. They kept the job. In fact, they were promoted because now they got rid of 20 headcount, 20 लोगों को fire कर दिया, right?
Mhm.
So whatever salaries there was accrued, it was some of the portion of it was given as promotion to others so that they can take on more responsibility. So DCCS in itself is not enough because things are changing very fast, right? Even though in
And more.
DCCS we cover Linux, we cover cybersecurity, we cover GRC, we cover many other things, right? Right?
Mhm.
So we cover all of those things. In the new DCCS, there are 9 new courses, and there are different languages taught, like Kotlin, Rust, Python, so these new things are coming in, but all through the labs. So you learn a concept, you do the labs. Learn the concept, do the labs, right? Okay, good. Explain how SSAE 18 improves upon SSAE 16 in the context of self-service organization that you mentioned.
Can you repeat please the question, please?
So, SSA, you mentioned in your presentation, SSA 16 has now been updated to SSA 18, right? I think we lost him again. Shees, are you there?
Yes, Faisal bhai.
I think we lost him again, right? I have to wrap up the exam. There are
Yeah, he went again.
5 questions remaining. Sorry, right? I'm not sure how he's going to answer them. 10.5. Yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry, sir,
You're
for the
losing time.
inconvenience.
You're losing time. You
So I'm
know.
really sorry.
Okay, so explain to me what changes happened when we went from SSA 16 to SSA 18. Go ahead, continue.
The, the main, the, the basic or the most wide, like, how can I explain? The most important change was the change in that it emphasized a service organization like cloud provider to monitor their sub-service organization to detect supply chain attacks and conduct risk assessment of their cloud infrastructure.
Okay. Okay, hold on.
There was only one change, which is the monitoring sub-service organization.
Okay, compare and contrast, like, if you have to do that, the PDCL cycle in 27,000 with the centralized SIEM operations, how would you use the PDCA cycle to implement a SIEM solution?
Can you
Go ahead.
just give me a minute to think?
Sure, sure. I'm not going to give you a lot of time.
No. Just a 10-second window. A SIEM, like a SIEM centralizes logs, so it
Like
it can.
my question
Hmm.
is, how would you employ PDCA cycle, on a SIEM solution implementation? That's my question. Answer very.
Hmm. The phase of check in the plan do check act cycle, PDCA cycle, the phase of check we can implement SIEM there in the check phase of PDCA cycle, because we have to detect threat in order to respond to the threat in the act phase.
Okay, explain to me, how would you employ PDCA cycle in your diploma that you are studying?
Plan do check. Like I can like during study or what?
Yes, when you took the admission in DCCS,
Jesus.
you
Yes.
said PDCA cycle. So you have the PDCA plan, do, check, act. How would you do?
I would be first planning about what will be the time being in which I'm going to complete the course, complete the diploma,
Planning is
and
not only
then
about timing. Planning is about many things. What would you plan?
like
Not only just the time.
I'll plan the scope. I'll
Yes.
plan the scope, uh, plan do, and I'll start the course and try to achieve my objective, and I'll check my progress upon while during my study. I'll check my progress and act upon it, and the cycle goes round and round.
So in a SIEM solution, the PDCA cycle works like this, right? Again, um, you plan it out. Yes, the SIEM needs to be deployed. Then you say, okay, the scope needs to be defined. That's the first thing. How many systems are coming under the scope, what kind of logs we have to collect, how many logs we have to collect, you know, security logs, the type of logs we have to collect, all of those things, right? As per the standard that we have to follow, can be PCI DSS, it can be 27,000, can be anything. And then you say, okay, let's roll out the SIEM, install the agents, agent list, agent base, whatever, bring it all in. Check the logs, check the correlations, check the aggregations, check all those things, check the reports.
Right.
Based on that, act on the data. Then the circle goes back. We saw, okay, we took some actionable intelligence. We took some, some actions on this intelligence that was provided to us through the SIEM, and we kept on improving. We saw some of the systems were not able to, new systems are there. So we add them into the context. So we go back to PDCA. They say rinse and repeat, right? So they say eat, sleep, and repeat. Some people, they wear these funny shirts, right? So similarly, PDCA is something that you do in every life, in everyday decision making, right? What do you do? What is the context? How far do I go? So the answer needs to be much more robust as compared to what you have given me. Okay. Why, how would you handle a multi-cloud governance challenge? Because Azure, GCP, AWS, Alibaba, Coin, whatever, right? Different clouds, different engines, different AI services. So how would you handle a multi-cloud governance challenge when applying ISO 27001 across a multi-cloud environment like Azure, GCP, AWS? What do you do? What do you have to do first? The first thing.
First thing in working with multi-cloud environments. First thing, yep. We have to build trust. We have like we are uploading our data, storing our data in their cloud system. Then we have to ensure that those cloud providers.
The question is when you have to apply ISO 27001, what do you do?
As
You
a government
start-
entity,
Can be any entity. It doesn't matter. It's an entity which is using multiple cloud providers, Azure, GCP, Amazon, IBM, Alibaba, whatever, right? And you have to apply ISO 27001 across these multi-cloud environments. What would you establish first?
the scope.
Keyword. I have mentioned this many, many times. UCF, what does it mean?
I don't remember this.
Unified Compliance Framework. So you establish a unified ISMS. Step number 1. What is step number 2? What would you do?
We will define the scope,
Yes, define the scope, and then after defining the
and
scope,
then we have to identify the threats and vulnerabilities related to those assets.
once you define the scope, then you have to pick the controls. SOA,
Yes.
SOA, right?
So to pick those controls, we have to establish a risk management process.
You have to establish a risk management process, do all of those things, right? So
Mhm.
when it comes to applying, it goes through the same process from scratch, right? Go back, plan. It's just like the PDCS question. We plan it out, we scope out everything, understand everything, then we do it, then we check it, then we act upon it, then we keep on repeating, right? Okay, then integrate into a centralized SIEM, ensure risk assessment processes covers across all the cloud infrastructure, so on and so forth, right? Okay. I can't go into CSA, Cloud Security Alliance Controls, and other things because those were taught in the other diplomas. My hands are pretty tied when it comes to level 3. Let's just say I don't like taking exams for level 3 because the scope is very limited, right? Can't take off my gloves, right? Okay, so how would you reconcile an SSAE 16, 18 focus on financial data?
Can you please elaborate on the word reconcile?
So how would you, I'm just thinking of the word, right? So let me phrase the question first. It's like, how would you reconcile an SSA 16, 18 focus on financial data with ISO 27001's broader risk framework in a government migration of classified intelligence data to GCP? So for example, you work for Sindh government, right, in Pakistan, right? And the federal government wants to move the data, right, of all the finances and everything from FBR, from one cloud provider to the other cloud provider, right? How would you perform the broader risk framework, governance for this migration project? How would you reconcile? How would you make sure SSA 16, SSA 18, and ISO 27001 combine together, and we will perform a broader risk assessment framework? We perform a risk assessment from one cloud provider to the other cloud provider to ensure that classified intelligence data, is migrated in a secure and compliant fashion. How would you do that? How would you convince the ministers, even though ministers are in Pakistan right now, it's totally incompetent. They don't know nothing. If you explain to them GCP or something like that, they might say, what, Geo Chaudhary Parvez? I mean, what does it GCP really means, right? Or they might say something else, right? Or if you say 10% risk, they might say, what, 10%? 10% is good money, man. So yeah, we can have that, right? So that's the kind of discussions that they only understand. But like, how would you do all of these things? How would you understand and pitch this to the senior management?
Like the combination of SSA 18 and ISO 27001.
Let me break it down further, right?
Mhm.
SSA 18 solely focuses on what?
SSA 18 focuses on the attestation of a trust services criteria.
It only solely focuses for our audit assurance, right?
Hmm.
It relies on what for the controls?
Other standards.
Like in this case, it
ISO
would be
27001. ISO 27001.
yes. So by using SSA 18 solely for audit assurance, while relying on ISO 27001 to establish holistic governance, right? That's what we have to do. This will ensure what? It will ensure that the classified intelligence data,
It will ensure security, obviously, overall security.
this
Ensure overall
that the
security.
classified data has risk-based controls beyond financial
Yes.
reporting, including encryption, SIEM, IAM,
Yes.
all of those things, right? I'm not going to mark you for this because this was a level 6 question. You see, like I don't like taking level 3 exams because I have to dumb myself down. Sometimes it's very difficult. Okay. Let's ask a question. Which governance aspect does ISO 27001 emphasizes that SSAE does not? SSA 18 doesn't have. Very good question. This is very important. SSA 18 has a weakness.
That is a comprehensive risk management process. SSA 18 does not have that. But ISO 27001 do.
Yeah, I mean,
Is
you
unique.
answered the question. You answered the question right. As
Hmm.
my son says, "Patthar fake answer." Like, just throw like this, like, and say, "Okay, I just answered that, right?" But it has to be add something to it, some spice, something. It's like pretty bland, right? So give me the answer properly.
Like, what is the difference you are asking, basically?
So, okay, what does 27001 emphasizes on that SSA 18 doesn't? It doesn't do emphasize on that. So, I mean,
Emphasize. ISO 27001 forces an organization to conduct risk it forces an organization to think critically about its specific risks.
yes. So ISO 27001 emphasizes enterprise-wide risk management and continuous improvement.
Yes, exactly.
Whereas
Continuous improvement. I'm
18
sorry for that.
emphasizes what? NCC 18 does what?
Monitoring of service organization.
Mainly focuses on controls related to
Trust services criteria.
financial reporting.
But that's about SOC 1, I guess.
This is SSA 1618, right? So I'm just talking so number one, these SSA statement of standard for statement of applicability, right? Whatever, right? It means, let me see, I've forgotten a means, right? So it means stands
Attestation engagements.
for attestation engagements, right? I used to sign them. I forgot myself, right? I used to because it has been a long time. Because now I'm a CEO, it's a different department who does that. Alhamdulillah. But anyway, uh, and this can only be signed by a CPA. You have to be a
Yes.
certified public accountant, right?
Yes. Yes.
So SSAE standards were designed by AICPA, the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, and it solely focuses on systems which can have a financial material impact to the organization. That's the most important thing. It only focuses on systems that can have a material impact, a financial impact. Whereas
I learned that there is a difference between SOC 1, SOC 2, and SOC 3. Like SOC 1's
those are
criteria
different.
is
SOC 1 criteria
ICFR,
is a point in time. SOC
ICFR.
2 is a going thing, is a period you defined, and SOC 3 is only for marketing purpose and stuff like that,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So that's yes, but they all emphasize on what? On financial reporting of the critical system. That's it.
Yes.
All they
Yes.
emphasize.
Yes.
SOC
Right.
1 is a point in time. SOC 2 is a continuous. You pick up a sample and you do all of those things. SOC 3 is only
Uh,
for marketing. Yeah, we do all of these things.
I guess that's the difference of time is in type 1 and type 2, not in SOC 1 and SOC 2.
Yes, that's correct. Right. So all of these things are like for accounting and financial purposes, but they specifically focuses on systems which can have a material impact. Whereas 27,001 goes across the board, right? Okay, your exam is over. How was the exam?
Not really tough, except for that one question.
Oh, I can come up with questions all day. Right? My own team runs away from me when I ask them the questions. So I ask them, if you come to me, you better have good questions. Because if you ask me a question that doesn't make sense and you already know the answer and I can see on your face you know the answer,
Hmm.
then there will be penalties. So I always ask them, go and do your homework properly before you come to me.
Okay.
Time is the most important thing that we all have, right? Time is,
Yep.
we are losing time. Okay, so good job, mashallah, in Sayyid Ammar Hussain. Apart from the two hiccups you had, and the presentation, you secured 20 out of 25. In the Q&A, you secured 10.5 and 9. So again, in the presentation, interview and questions, you secured 20 out of 25. So that makes up to essentially 80%. You secured 80%, mashallah, okay? That is your score. You have passed your exam, okay? Mashallah, very good. Here's my recommendation. You have to go and complete the Al Razak labs. How old are you?
19.
19. So you still have a lot of time. My recommendation to you is go and study AI ops, develop your skills further, and then start applying, inshallah. Okay. Al Razak, if you complete the Al Razak 9 months, then you will be able to access and apply for jobs which are related to, because DCCS has limited scope. DevOps has scope. DevSysOps has bigger scope, level 5. AI ops is much bigger, right? Okay. So inshallah, keep on studying, keep on moving forward, inshallah. Do the labs. The labs are very important,
Inshallah.
inshallah. Okay,
Inshallah.
do the labs, because that will take you to the next level, inshallah. Okay. Do you
Yeah.
have any questions for me?
Actually, I have two questions. One is that I am more inclined towards penetration testing because of its steep learning curve. So, do you have any suggestions for me in excelling in penetration testing career?
Penetration testing is dead
Why is that?
because of artificial intelligence, because of AI, because of all of these things. It is evolving very, very fast. If you do not know Python, if you do
Hmm.
not know Bash, if you do not know C and C++,
Alhamdulillah, I know that.
you need to learn all of these things. Plus, you need to know the standards, the frameworks, the organization, enterprise architecture, all of those things.
Hmm.
Look at the lives of any of these pen testers. Where are they? In journal, you will find a guy who claims he's the best bounty hunter in the world. But what is he doing right now? Either he's running his own company.
Mhm.
You don't see a C-level title, a director or something like that in front of their names.
Mhm.
They only
Mhm.
post about these things on the social media.
Right,
You know,
right,
that those days are gone. AI is getting smarter, and it's going to become harder and harder for people. Obviously, for these scammers and for these ransomware attacks and all these people for phishing attacks, they're using AI. In fact, AI
right,
is being used more by the hackers as compared to other people. But you need to learn how to build up those systems. So
right,
organizations are looking for people who are well-rounded. Khalid bin Walid, radiallahu anhu, if you study about him, he knew archery at an excellent level. He knew wrestling at an
right,
excellent,
right,
horse riding at an excellent level. He knew, sword fighting at an excellent level. His strategies for every battle he fought more than 100 battles, campaigns. And every battle, he came up with a different strategy.
right,
The Romans and the Persians were tired of this guy. And
right,
Khalid bin Walid radiallahu anhu was the best in what he did. You know why? Because he kept on reinventing himself. I was
right.
reading his life, his biography, how he went into all of these things. His campaigns things are taught here. So when I was designing the drones labs, drones and autonomous systems for defensive purposes and offensive
Mhm.
purposes, I was using his strategies to be embedded within the AI model so that the students know how to create diversion. So how to create all of this. So in one of the strategies that he used to do, and in every battle, the Muslims were outnumbered with a huge number, huge, right? When they were fighting Romans, the difference was the Muslims were one-fourth of what the Romans were,
Right.
25,000, 100,000.
Uh,
Persians, 20,000,
weren't there 15,000?
there are different narrations. If you go through all the 100 campaigns, you will see different numbers, right? But in general, they were always one-fourth of the enemy. So the enemy was 75% more than what these guys were. In every campaign, he kept coming with new strategies. So Abdurrahman bin Auf, when he came to Medina, he said, "Where is Souk? Where is the market?" He went to the market. When Khalid bin Walid came Medina, he accepted Islam. He said, "Where is the battlefield?" So he went there. So if you want to become like a pen tester, there is no such thing as a pen tester. You have to be well-rounded. You need to know AI, you need to know Kubernetes, you need to know all of those things. And don't hedge your bets on just one thing, just being a pen tester.
So
A pen
that is not
tester,
like
let me finish.
jack of all trades. Okay, sorry.
There's no such thing as jack of all trades. You need to learn these things. You can't,
Right,
you will not survive. Coming from a person who has reached, I'm 45 years of age right now,
right, right, right.
C-level guy at the age of 30. Have you seen any pen test or any of these and Fortune 500 companies? Have you seen any of these guys reaching that? No. All they talk about is vulnerabilities, this and that and whatnot. Applications are getting, smarter. AI is being embedded in infrastructure as a code. Security is embedded as security as a code, right? QA and all of these guys, in our company, we have a CIOps pipeline. Everything is being tested. All of those things are being continuously tested and everything. What we can block, we do block. What we can't, if the price goes too much, we say just leave it, right? But we have fraud controls and abuse controls. We have canceled many people's memberships and diplomas because they were abusing the system. Yes, we have done that. You don't see them because we don't announce it, right? So we have started taking action, strict action against fraud and abuse. So what I'm saying is like, don't hedge your bets on just being a pen tester. You're young, you have a lot of time. Yesterday, a 14-year-old kid who completed his AI ops, he established his company, right? And I was showing that his message in the during the exam. If you go back, you will see my post as well on that. And he already signed two contracts in US, one in Luxembourg.
At the age of 14.
At the age of 14, he completed his AI ops, he completed his metric. Just like you're 19, he's 14. He's 5 years ahead of you.
सर तो क्या उनके एकेडमिक्स बैकग्राउंड जो है वो उनके लिए हर्डल नहीं बनता?
He's not going outside. वो बाहर थोड़ी जा रहा है. अभी नहीं जा रहा, जाना है उसको. मगर उस बच्चे ने पैसे कमाना शुरू कर दिए. उसने
पैसे
Amazon के वेल आर्किटेक्ट्स रखे, डेवऑप्स के इंजीनियर्स रखे, सिसऑप्स के 14 साल का बच्चा अपनी कंपनी चला रहा है. ठीक है. So you already signed up 3 contracts. ठीक है. If you want to go somewhere, go into drones. सिलिकॉन वैली में इस वक्त दुनिया भर में सब जगह बिलियंस ऑफ डॉलर डिफेंस में लग रहे हैं. इफ यू वांट टू बिल्ड अप समथिंग, है ना, बिल्ड अप समथिंग एंड सेल इट इन द मिडिल ईस्ट. पाकिस्तान में कोई फायदा नहीं है. ठीक है.
ये तो मुझे कई लोगों ने बोला है कि पाकिस्तान में इन सब चीज़ों की कोई बात नहीं होती, तो भूल जाओ ये सब पाकिस्तान में।
फायदा नहीं. ये सारे जो पेन टेस्टर बैठे हुए हैं सब ड्रामेबाज हैं. किसी को कोई काम
हम्म,
नहीं आता. 2 3 4 काम करेंगे. बड़ी मेरे पास सब आ चुके हैं. ठीक है ना. कोई पढ़ा नहीं
हम्म,
सकता, कोई कुछ नहीं कर सकता. दिस नथिंग. बेकार की बात है. ठीक है. मेरा मशवरा है, दिस इज माई सिंसियर वो recommendation. ठीक है ना. Do what my son is doing. When you become a scholar, you have to do all of those things. You just don't become, okay, I will just do hadith. No, you have to do hadith, Quran, fiqh, all of those things, right? So you can't just say, okay, मैं सिर्फ जाके ये करूँगा. I mean, it's a very bad idea. Most of these pen testers are broke. You're young. मैट्रिक कर लिए,
right.
आगे पढ़ो, निकलो से आगे, निकलो से आगे बाहर जाओ. You have a lot of time in front of you. You have 60 years before you retire. 50 years तो तुम्हारे कहीं नहीं गए. अभी 20 के हो, 19 के हो.
Right.
So this is the big difference. Inshallah, right? May Allah make it easy for you. Congratulations in terms of passing the exam. I will finalize these results. Inshallah, I'll send it to the team. You will hear it
Sir,
back
I have one question more. Can I ask?
Hmm.
Can I ask? सर मुझे ना पियर्सन अगर मैंने करूँ तो क्या मेरे बाहर निकलने के चांसेस हैं? क्या मतलब कोई बाहर किसी भी फॉरेन यूनिवर्सिटी से डिग्री मिलने के चांसेस हैं?
So
और मुझे क्या क्राइटेरिया फॉलो करना पड़ेगा आपके पाथ को फॉलो करने के लिए, जो आपने पियर्सन का पाथ किया?
Pearson बहुत सारे लोग पढ़ा रहे हैं. Pearson is being taught by many. Roots ये वो सब.
Right.
ठीक है ना.
हम्म,
सबकी अलग अलग फीस है.
हम्म,
ठीक है. मेरा जो बच्चा है वो पेयरसन और एजुकॉल दोनों फॉलो कर रहा है. एजुकॉल से भी तुम्हारा एडमिशन बाहर हो सकता है. बच्चे जा रहे हैं.
right.
ठीक है ना.
हम्म,
सब लोग निकल रहे हैं. पेयरसन से भी तुम्हारा एडमिशन हो सकता है. डिफरेंस दोनों में क्या है? पेयरसन इज ओनली गुड फॉर गोइंग आउटसाइड. एजुकॉल कम्स विद द स्किल्स. ठीक है ना.
right.
नाउ
To get a job.
यस, बट इफ यू डू इट टुगेदर. बोले कि आप अपने बच्चे को दोनों क्यों करवा रहे हैं? क्या
हम्म,
वजह? पेयरसन
because
पेयरसन में कोई एग्जाम नहीं है. इट्स ऑल असाइनमेंट.
right.
डू यू नो
हम्म,
एग्जाम?
you mentioned that before, yes.
बट जो हमारा ड्यूल डिप्लोमा है, व्हाट वी हैव डन
हम्म,
इज देयर आर 29 जो है ना, इसके अंदर 29 वो हैं डोमेन्स हैं. सॉरी 36 डोमेन्स हैं. 36 डोमेन. दीज आर नोन एज द सॉवरन टेक्नोलॉजीज. तो अगर तुम ड्यूल डिप्लोमा करते हो जिसमें बी
हम्म,
टेक, HND और AI ऑप्स तीनों आता है, जैसे कि ये अन्नाफे का है ना,
हम्म,
annafe.com/pathways. Let me show it to you. So if you do this, अगर तुम ये सारे करते हो एक साथ, if you do the pathways, तुम यहाँ पर मैट्रिक किया हुआ है तुमने. ठीक है ना. सही है.
सर
You,
मैं 12th ग्रेड पास नहीं होगा अगर मैं ये लेवल 3 कंप्लीट कर लूंगा तो?
yes, yes, you can. Hold on. You have done this. ठीक है ना. तुमने
Right.
मैट्रिक कर लिया. अब तुम एजुकॉल के से तुम यहाँ पर आ गए. ठीक है ना. 2+1.
Right. Right.
If you do HND
हम्म,
प्लस, इफ यू डू इसके साथ AI ऑप्स, यहाँ 2+1 लिखा है ना. you will be able to pick three ठीक है ना fields from these ones. इनमें से तुम कोई 3 fields पिक कर सकते हो. बोले यार मुझे AIML पकड़नी है, ठीक है, नेक्स्ट जनरेशन कम्युनिकेशन कनेक्टिविटी पकड़नी है, दूसरी ये पकड़नी है, या फिर तीसरी जो है ना मुझे drones and autonomous weapon systems पकड़नी है, ठीक है, पकड़ लो. So your Al-Razak will have 3 fields of specialization. Why? Because it says what? 2 plus 1. So 3 तुम्हें qualifications मिलेंगे. अगर तुम यहाँ पे आओगे 4 plus 1 तुम्हें 5 मिलेंगी. But obviously time ज़्यादा है इसमें.
Right.
तुम बैचलर्स मास्टर्स करके आते हो सिर्फ AI ops मिलेगा. That's it. अगर तुम ये करते हो इसमें AI ops के साथ तुम कोई पिक कर सकते हो एक. अब ये 29 हो गई, 36 हो गई टेक्नोलॉजीज, ठीक है ना. यू कैन पिक अप एनी वन, राइट. और इसी तरह प्लस प्लस भी है. सो इफ यू गो टू Al-Nafi क्लाउड you will see all of these things, right? You will see all of these things here, all the technology, all the different disciplines and everything, right? Cloud and big data, quantum computing, semiconductor chip design, ये सारी fields हैं. There are 9 pillars. 9,
तो
right?
सर जब मैं पियर्सन में एनरोल होगा तो क्या मुझे अल-रज़ाक की लैब्स मिलेंगी उसके साथ ही?
अगर तुम ड्यूल डिप्लोमा जाओगे, अगर तुम सिर्फ पेयरसन करोगे, नो, पेयरसन इज जस्ट पेयरसन. लेकिन इफ यू डू ड्यूल डिप्लोमा, पेयरसन एंड एजुकॉल, देन यू गेट एक्सपैंडेड अल-रज़ाक. Then you can pick up from
तो
these specializations.
डुअल डिप्लोमा में मुझे दोनों के एग्जाम देने पड़ेंगे?
There are no exams.
ओह,
Who said there are exams? That's what I'm
आई
telling you.
थॉट.
No.
यस, ऑलराइट.
Let me show you quickly, then I have to go, what there is,
Okay.
right? So dual diploma में क्या है? I mean, what's in the dual diploma, right? So dual diploma के अंदर there is nothing like that. In dual diploma, this is what you will go through. Pearson में assignments होते हैं. You see? In EduQual there are no assignments. Yes, Pearson में MCQs नहीं होते, EduQual में MCQs हैं. Al-Razak part 1 है, part 2 है. Duolingo का test, you need to go Duolingo or IELTS. You need to do one of them.
Alright.
Score, if you have done O levels, that is exempted. Right? फाइनल प्रोजेक्ट लैब्स इसके अंदर अलग हैं, EQ कोर्स सिलेक्शन अलग हैं, लिंक्डइन कोर्स ऑप्टिमाइजेशन की कंप्लीशन जरूरी है, रेज्यूमे डेवलपमेंट इसके अंदर है. इसी पेयरसन में कुछ नहीं मिल रहा, इसमें मिल रहा है सब कुछ. लेकिन अगर तुम दोनों को कंबाइन करते हो, यू गेट टू चूज एनी ऑफ दीज 3 एज पर द जो तुम्हारा कोर्स है, जो तुम्हारी चीजें हैं उसके हिसाब से तुमने कितने को पिक किया है. आई मीन व्हाट आर यू डूइंग, व्हाट आर यू पिकिंग अप, राइट. सो यहां पर जैसे फाउंडेशन का बच्चा है, ही हैज अ मच बिगर अल-रज़ाक. 8th ग्रेड का बच्चा है, उसको 6 स्पेशलाइजेशन से पिक कर सकता है. 10th ग्रेड का बच्चा है 5 कर सकता है. 12th ग्रेड का बच्चा है 3 कर सकता है. दैट इज योर स्पेशलाइजेशन. बैचलर्स वाला 1 एक ही पिक कर सकता है AI ops में. You see, this is not in DCCS, this is not in DevOps, this is not in SysOps. Level 3, 4 के लिए नहीं. It has to be a combined thing because it goes through many things as you go forward. Okay? Inshallah. चलो, Jazakallah khair. Say my salam to
Jazakallah.
my parents. Make special dua for me. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik.
Jazakallah.
Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.